On today's video, we're going to watch the highlights from my last 15 wins that got me to 100 stars in head-to-head. As always, respect to all of my opponents. When you get to this level of head-to-head, every game is difficult and wins by multiple goals are challenging to get. Enjoy the video. In game number 1, I play one of the best front fours possible, but I take a 1-0 lead with a crazy elastico from Ginola and an even better finish. He comes right back down with some great passing and scores a rocket with Ginola right back at me. And there was literally nothing I could do about this. But the biggest mistake that he made was watching the replay. On his next turnover, I get him back on the counter with another elastico from Ginola, who outpaces Blanc easily. And right before halftime, I get a lucky bounce with Vinny, but take nothing away from the finish with his weak left foot. Right after halftime, he gives the ball away, and look at this ridiculous speed and dribbling from Rafinha. He goes all the way up the pitch, 2 defenders chasing, and then a fake shot, and he slides it home to make it 4-1. For the 5th goal, I make a great sliding tackle with Lucio, and then I get on the counter. Jairzinho hits him with an elastico, and then sends a perfect through ball to Eusebio to clinch the 5-1 win. In game number 2, he uses another 4-2-3-1 narrow, but I come out on fire with quick one-touch passing, and then De Bruyne makes it 1-0. Goal number 2 was a lethal counterattack. My entire front 3 gets a touch, and after a bunch of one-touch passing, Rafinha slots it home to Salah to make it 2-0. And goal 3 starts off with a giveaway, but look at this run from Salah. He makes an incredible run, cuts through his defense, finds KDB, who gives it right back to Salah for a nice goal. Goal 4 was our 3rd counterattack of the game. Eusebio chips a ball to Dembele, who passes right back to KDB for the easy goal. And our final goal, what starts off with a long ball from Vinny, who uses an incredible elastico and a lane change for the 5-0 win. Game number 3 was our first 3-5-2 of the recorded run. And this first goal was a pretty cheap goal. I earn a free kick, but then I give it right to Ginola, but he does have an incredible finish to make it 1-0. Goal number 2 was all about the solo run from Ginola to end the half. I still don't understand his strength on this and how he didn't fall over at this tackle. He crosses in to hole it, and I ended up getting an own goal somehow. And then on this next one, after great defense, Rafinha runs by everyone and then gives it right back to Ginola as 2 or 3 come at him, and Ginola finishes pretty easily. Goal 4 has some fortune, but take nothing away from Jairzinho when he gets the ball back. He uses an elastico and then lays it off to Hullet for the 4-0 win. Game number 4 was our second 3-5-2 in a row and starts with some really nice dribbling from Hullet. He ends up getting tackled from behind, but uses some nice joystick in between then, gets fouled, clear penalty right here, and Blanc is actually my penalty taker, and look at how he just rockets this home for the 1-0 score. Goal 2 was just a moment of brilliance from Jairzinho. He picks up so much speed after his elastico, uses a lane change, scores the easy goal. Goal number 3, I use the exact same move, but this time I just lay it off to Eusebio for the 3-0 win. Game number 5 is against the top 50 player and contains maybe my 2 favorite goals of the run. The one-touch passing from my team, and then a ridiculous elastico from Ginola to go up 1-0. Goal 2 was all about Jairzinho's solo run from midfield. He goes all the way down the pitch, uses a fake shot, and then an elastico, which makes my opponent quit. Game number 6 is another 3-5-2 that starts with Rafinha on the ball. He cuts to the middle, draws 2 defenders, and then KDB is going to go a finesse shot with his weak left foot. And on this next possession, I use great defending and direct patient build-up. Ginola is going to end up passing to Vinny here for an absolutely unstoppable team goal And these are the kind of goals that are some of my favorite goals on the run. Goal 3, I use a really nice step over, get the ball to Rafinha. I pass it to KDB, but it gets saves, but Rafinha is there for the header. And the final goal of the game starts off with great defense from Blanc. And now as Dembele receives, he makes a brilliant run with the ball, pulling all kind of defenders away. He chips it to KDB, who gives it right back to him. Game number 7 is the first 4-3-3 holding of the run, and it's like I'm playing myself. It's also the first time that I have to come back from behind. Lucio dives in with a really rash challenge. He scores the penalty, and then I go down 1-0. But a few possessions later, 2 players run at Ginola, and then I find Rafinha easily to tie the game 1-1. Goal 2 was a bogus penalty, honestly. Don't even really know how I got this, but I still get it. Blanc goes up there, and then he smashes it home to make it 2-1. In this last play, my opponent is out of position again, and Jairzinho is going to find Hullet for an easy 3-1 win. Game number 8 is against a 4-1, 2-1-2 wide, and I start the game with a great step over from Rafinha. His speed is cracked, guys. He is seriously one of the best dribblers and best speed burst in the game. I do a lot of back and forth here, get a little bit of fortune with a lane change, but again, take nothing away, especially from this Hullet finish from outside the box to make it 1-0. But he breaks me right down on the very next possession on a counterattack to tie the game 1-1, a really nice finish from R9. And now in the 70th minute, I use some great passing, get the ball to Eusebio, who performs a perfect roulette to go up 2-1. But I'm not done yet. On the third goal, Dembele uses an elastico, gives an easy tap-in goal to Eusebio. And then lastly, Jairzinho picks up the ball, does another solo run here, and at this point, it feels like my opponent has kind of given up. He uses a lane change, and then he curls it in with his weak foot for a 4-1 win. Game number 9 is against one of the best players in the world, Fleppnor. My first goal is a very lucky kind of pinball FC Mobile type goal. I end up getting a penalty here, and then Ginola is going to go ahead and score this to go up 1-0. Goal 2 was a beautiful step over from Vinny, and he just outruns the entire team here and then scores a finesse shot for the 2-0 lead. And then my last goal of the game was because his back line oversteps, and then De Bruyne makes it 3-0. Game number 10 is another 3-5-2 with a beautiful attacking lineup. But after this crazy elastico from Ginola, Schmeichel makes an incredible save, but on the very next possession, I get an easy corner goal and kind of the script type goal. But I wanted to include this next clip because of my patient defending. Look at how I am with Lucio, making it really tough on him. I get the ball, get on the counter, going the other direction. Eusebio goes ahead and gets away, sends a beautiful ball to Dembele. And then Dembele is going to use a combination of stick dribbling and then a lane change to go up 2-0. And the last goal of the game was another ridiculous run from Jairzinho. He receives the ball, and then it goes through not one or two, but 3 people. And then his control with the ball is on another level to go up 3-0. Game number 11 was one of the sweatiest games of the run. The passing on this move was brilliant, but Rafinha scores a beautiful screamer from outside the box to go up 1-0. But after constant pressure, I make the worst mistake of the run, no doubt. After just trying to pass out of pressure, I give it right to him, and he ties the game 1-1. But in the 90th minute, Jairzinho receives the ball at midfield and goes the length of the pitch. But he puts in a beautiful cross, and Dembele heads it home for the 2-1 win. Game number 12 is against another 4-2-3-1 narrow, which I'm seeing more and more in head-to-head at the highest levels. But this goal starts with a crazy Ginola solo run, who uses a combination of a step over, a fake shot, an elastico, stick dribbling, and a lane change to go up 1-0. Goal 2 was some France-on-France crime with a fake shot from Dembele sending Blanc back to Paris. And goal 3 was some exceptional dribbling from Jarzinho, but an even better save, and I still can't believe this didn't go in. But he passes it along, but I read this roulette very easily. But this was the case of earning a penalty but not falling down. I honestly haven't really seen anything like it. I think it probably was barely a foul, but it seemed more like just a script thing. Anyways, I get the penalty, and Eusebio is going to go ahead and easily knock it home. On the very next possession, he gets a corner goal, but the game is not over. I use a crazy elastico with Dembele, and then go all the way, lane change, nice joystick dribbling for the 4-1 win. Game 13 was another sweaty match, and it's another 4-2-3-1, which again we've seen more of. But this time I get on the counter. Rafinha receives the ball, and again, guys, look at this pace. He goes all the way, scores it to go up 1-0. But my opponent gets the ball back, uses an elastico and a roulette, gives me a bit of my own medicine. But I end up taking the 2-1 win with a really nice lane change and finish from Hullet. And game number 14 was against YouTuber and TikToker Liam. Absolutely one of the best players in the world. And I start off with a nice cross-field pass. I get the ball to Ginola, and this is a case of script working in my favor. I end up getting tackled, but I get the ball right back. But a nice lane change right here, and I go up 1-0. Goal 2, I capitalize on a mistake, go all the way with Vinny. He runs past his defense, and he goes ahead and crosses it over to Ginola for the 2-0 lead. And my third goal was brilliance from Hullet. He uses a roulette here, some joystick dribbling, and a finesse shot for 3-0. But against the best players in the world, they're always going to make a run back at you. Look at this dribbling from Diaz, guys. And I would encourage you, if you haven't already, go check him out on TikTok. Go check him out also on YouTube. He just started one. But again, the dribbling, the open up fake shot, and the finish. Game 15 was the most difficult game of the run. My opponent somehow gets past Blanc and Lucio, and I go down 1-0. Ginola's strength is crazy. I don't get the first goal until the 80th minute with an easy cross to Ginola, and then after a turnover, Eusebio gets the ball, uses a step over, and he's gone. This is the benefit of having a good step over, smashes it home from a tight angle. And that was the game that got me to 100 stars. And to end the video, I want to share some stats with you. The first is who scored the most goals. Ginola scored 11, Eusebio scored 6, and Rafinha, Hullet, and Dembele were all tied with 5. I think the best attackers in FC Mobile rely on even scoring and don't rely on one person. It's much more difficult to defend. In my last 15 wins to get to 100 stars at the highest possible competition level in FC Mobile, we finished with 50 goals and allowed 9. This run was crazy. Please make sure to like and subscribe and comment which goal was your favorite. Thanks, guys.